Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Michael here, Deeper States Mind and Wellness. How are you guys? Happy holidays to you. I want to talk today about a very sensitive issue, depression and anxiety, or what's sometimes known as the holiday blues. A lot of us go through them. Many people don't even realize they're going through them. So, welcome you guys to my live tonight. I'm not going to take any questions on this live because I really think this is very important information. You guys have questions at the end. You guys are welcome to place them in the chat. I'll be happy to address them privately to you, or you can DM me, send me a direct message. I just kind of feel like anxiety, depression, and mostly the holiday blues because some people only experience it through the holidays, right? They don't experience it as a daily living. I most of my um, help that I give you guys, most of what I offer you guys is ways to manage depression and anxiety. But those of you who have had depression and anxiety on a regular basis have learned coping mechanisms. Those of you who have not had coping mechanisms or who are maybe for the first time going through the experience of having depression and anxiety at a regular level, and now you add the holidays into it, increases that quite a bit more. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about that tonight. I'm going to give you some background about who I am. My name is Michael Almers. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist. I'm a neurolinguistic programmer. I live here in Los Angeles, California, and I see clients around the world. But if you're interested in doing a consultation with me, please just DM me. I'll send you a calendar link. You can actually self-book yourself. But I want to talk to you and hopefully kind of get some coping mechanism or some ideas of what you guys can do during the holiday season and to deal with some of that holiday blues. And I'm not talking chronic depression. I'm not I'm not talking about clinical depression. I'm talking about the holiday blues. So now that we're at that point, let me start right away by saying happy holidays. Even though the season can be overwhelming and stressful, I want to express to all of you my best wishes for these holidays, and I want to give you some tools to be able to deal with some of the holiday blues. I understand how difficult it can be, the feeling of loneliness, isolation, sadness, but you got to remember, and I'm here to remind you of this, that the world is still, it has some hope in it. It has love. It even has all of this during very difficult times like these for some of you. Keep in mind that the holidays are a time that, you know, they bring mixed emotions for some people. And while the season can be cheerful for many, and it can be merry for many, it can quickly turn into something else, a feeling of loneliness or maybe down during the holiday. It's all too common of an experience for many, many people. But you can do things to help keep away those holiday blues. One of the most important ways that you can combat loneliness during the holidays or during the season anyway, because it's not even really holidays, right? Seasons come, seasons go. Some people get it when the seasons change, actual seasons change. But it's by being around your friends and your family. Invite your close friends for dinner, do a game night, or even just a cozy night at home watching some movies. It doesn't have to be on the actual holiday. It doesn't have to be on Christmas Day. It doesn't have to be on New Year's Day. Plan it so that you do it before or after. And the whole idea is to bring in the group of people that you're going to be with. I would do it before the holiday because when the holiday comes, now you've had enough time to sit there and think about what you're not doing, right? So I would do it 3-4 days before the holiday. That way you're actually coming in, you're connecting to people, you're having people around you. Call a friend. If you've not spoken to a person in a long, long time, it's also a great way to reconnect and to stay connected. During this time when we are often pulled into many directions, mentally, emotionally, and physically. One of the top reasons the season is so hard is that a lot of times it's family drama. We've all had it, right? We've all experienced family drama. And many other factors come into play with this. Another big one is having trouble with family, your own personal family and finances. You look at Christmas and it's a very difficult time for some people. They don't have the money, and you have children wanting these gifts. You have people wanting things from you, expectations, right? The holiday season is an exciting time for many people. But if you have any mental health problems, the holidays can be pretty challenging. I mean, I know it for myself. I've been there. I've also seen people that have gone through this. I've worked with clients that the holidays are miserable. Our death rate's really high, our suicide rate's really high, and our death rate's really high during the holidays, during Christmas and New Year's. It could be because there's so much added stress, right? So much expectation. But keep in mind that real life is a little bit messier than it's messier and it's more complicated than even a Hallmark Christmas movie. I mean, real life is not sometimes the endings aren't so good, right? Sometimes the middles aren't so good. Sometimes the beginnings aren't so good. Sometimes it's just a sensation of like not feeling connected. And I understand that. The key is going to be that you go into this mental health holiday and you say, okay, how do I take care of me? So if I know it's a mental health holiday and I've had holidays that have made me feel this way, how do I take care of that for myself, right? Um, Usually what happens if there's already mental health issues before the holidays, during the holidays, it tends to decline as well. It gets worse, but not for the reason you think. You don't have to have an excuse. You don't need to give yourself an excuse to fall off the mental health wagon at all this season. I mean, sometimes it just happens to us, right? Despite your best efforts, it's almost impossible to avoid feeling stressed, at least a little during the holidays. Instead, here are 4 easy steps that you can take to help you enjoy the holidays a little bit more without getting overwhelmed. One, think about expectation for yourself. Expectation is created by you, right? I mean, a whole idea of us all getting together for the holidays is because we want to be with people we love. It's not so much about that pumpkin pie being perfect. It's not so much about the lemon meringue having the perfect color on top. A lot of times what happens is people feel that obligation. They feel this expectation and the ability, you're not, your friends aren't creating that expectation for yourself. You're doing it to yourself. You're creating the expectation that maybe you can't reach, or maybe you're not feeling well enough to do, right? So slow down the expectations, go back and think about what the reason for the season is. Is it because you love your family? Is it because you enjoy your friends? Is it because you really enjoy having them in your life and you want to partake and bring them closer together? If you can get that mindset, it'll help you not go into that seasonal depression, that holiday blues they like to call it. Another thing is keep yourself mentally and physically well. So if you're not a gym person, and I am, but if you're not a gym person and you hate going to the gym, take a weekend and go for a long hike. Get yourself physically active. Start walking around the block once every day, or even 2 times a day, morning and afternoon. It's very good for the mind. It's very good for the brain. It kind of helps go in and do these chemical balances, so you're not so overwhelmed and so anxiety driven towards what the expectations are that you're creating for yourself. Remember, the holidays are not creating the experience. You're creating the experience that you want to have in the holidays. So, another thing you can do is, so go for long walks. Um, Invite friends over. It doesn't have to be the holidays. It can be right before the holiday. Say on the 22nd or 23rd, bring friends over, have a movie night, right? So that's your connection. That's your beginning. That's your feeling the fulfillment to having people around you. Call friends. Maybe you haven't been in contact with friends. So pick 5 friends that for the 5 days before the holiday, you're going to call those friends. You're going to have a conversation. You're going to reconnect. You're going to just have a good time and just enjoy that expression, that moment of being able to reconnect with each other. Another good thing is to pamper yourself. If you're feeling a little sad, take that into consideration. Say, I'm feeling kind of shitty today. What can I do for myself? Do something that you love. Go get your nails done. Go get your hair done. If you're a guy, go get a deep tissue massage. Do things that are going to give you this connection to know that you are 100% still human, first of all. Number two, it's okay for you to not meet the expectations that you're creating for yourself. I'll use a perfect example. So I had 28 people over at my house for a Friendsgiving, and I put in my head that I wanted to make these candy bars, that I would rewrap the candy bar and it would have, the logo, my logo, and welcoming them and the year and everything else, like a momentum that they could take with them. And it was really getting difficult because some people were coming, some people weren't, some people didn't RSVP, some people did. And the thing with that was that, that's common. It's very normal, right? So at first I was kind of frustrated. I thought, I got to get these done and I'm not getting them done. So I thought, okay. And my ink didn't come in either. So I was waiting for ink to come in from my printer. That never came in. So that, I'm going to do the ones that can confirm and can obligate themselves, it's important to them. I'm going to do those first. So I did that. And then what happened is at the end, I only had like 3 more that I had to do. 2 of those people didn't show up, and the other one, I think, 2 people didn't show up because one got COVID, I believe. And then the other person had not shown up because she had to work or had some business obligations. And that's okay. Because remember, I set the expectation for myself. It wasn't that they were expecting to receive that candy bar, that momentous candy bar they could take home with them and cherish forever, which in my head, that's what it was about, right? But I had to come in and understand that it's not about that. It was about getting my friends together. It was about having a nice dinner. It was about having people in my circle. And we did it before Thanksgiving. So when Thanksgiving came, I didn't really have a lot going on. I went to some friends, to my roommate's family members, and we had a nice, beautiful Thanksgiving. But I didn't have the feeling of like not having family around. I didn't have the feeling of like, oh my gosh, it's, I have to be here and I have to present myself in a certain way. Relax, enjoy your time with the people you're enjoying. It's really important for you to be able to understand that people don't expect a lot. People expect to have food on the table, something to drink, and a good time, a good conversation. That really is what it comes down to. I mean, and it's not just for the holidays, right? That's every day of our lives. But because society has imprinted in our mind through the passing of generations that this is what's expected for the holiday to be like, this is what is supposed to happen during the holidays, that leads to a lot of depression and anxiety because now there's an expectation that's huge, right? Talk about Christmas gifts for a moment. So your son wants a brand new iPhone 55, right? Because we will be by that point. iPhone changes so much. Maybe by that time by Christmas Day, we'll be at the iPhone 55. So if you can't afford that, explain that. Give an explanation and understanding and say, it can't happen now, but maybe in a year or in 6 months or in 3 months, I'll be in a better place. But expectation is what you're creating in your head. Oh my God, I have to do this. I have to make sure that this is accurate. It's got to be that right phone. If I don't get the right phone, then it's not going to be. I mean, I saw that happen with one of my housekeeper's sons, and the kid was like 10 or 11 years old, 12 years old. Set those boundaries, not just for the people around you, but the boundaries need to be set for yourselves, especially your emotional boundaries. Go in and get those emotional boundaries and say, okay, why am I creating such a huge expectation on this when really that's not the meaning of this? That's not the reason why I'm even doing this, right? Being alone on the holiday can be rough, because you have all that time to think through your head. That's why it's so important that if you create something prior to the holiday, an event, right? A movie night with your friends, even a romantic, nice, beautiful dinner with a person you're not going to be with that you might love for that evening, right? It may be 3-4 days before Christmas. Tell that person that's out of town during the holidays or has to go to work that, let's do something early. Let's celebrate it together. Let's do a pre-Christmas dinner, right? So there are ways for you to be able to accomplish those sensations. Now, and when I talked about walking, it's real important to walk or to run or go to the gym, do something that's different, that's physical for you, because this is the big thing. If you hike, it's great, because this is the big thing. Remember, everything that our human body feels, every sensation, every emotion starts in your mind, right? We have a giant chemical plant up there that's serving our body. It's serving our needs, our desires, our feelings, our emotions. And the key for that is going to be that you understand that. And so what happens is when you start getting into those sad, lonely states, those emotional states, then all the chemicals start to overload, and you're not releasing them, right? Your habits have changed. The things you normally do are different. You're going to the mall all the time, and people are it's packed, it's crowded. You're waiting. I waited, I think, an hour and a half the other day at Marshall's to go buy a belt. Was I frustrated? Absolutely. Did I realize at some point that this is just how it is, and it's okay. I'm not in a hurry. So make sure that you give yourself that understanding and take care of yourself. Give yourself the understanding that it's a holiday, yes, but it really is no different than any other day, is it? You are creating the expectation of what you expect for that holiday. So just let yourself know that and know that you're going into it just enjoying it. I mean, if you can't afford gifts, make something. I'm going to tell you. So, I mean, I really do make things every year because I really believe that for me, giving them something that is handmade or handcrafted or something I put my time and energy into, it means so much more. And I think means so much more to them. I still have a candy cane that's about this big that one of my nephews gave me when he was probably like 3 or 4 years old, 5 years old. They did it in like a kindergarten class. To this day, I have that candy cane, and I cherish that candy cane. It was really kind of cool because he gave it to me. That was the first Christmas, and that was his gift, and I loved it. I mean, I still cherish that moment. So be easy on yourself. Don't be too difficult on yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. If you're feeling like you're just not meeting your expectations, It's okay. It's all right. I mean, the expectations you created them, you put them on yourself first. And I would tell you, and I'll be very honest and be very transparent with you. If you have a family member that's creating these expectations and involving you in that type of expectation, it's about them. It's not about you. You need to be able to say, you know what, look, I'm not in a place to manage this, but what I am in a place to do is maybe to contribute, or maybe to do this, or maybe to do that, or to, I'll make the candy bars, for instance, right, for my party. I would love somebody else to have done it and taken the frustration off of me, but I didn't, and I couldn't. So therefore, I just did it, and I said, okay, how can I make this easier for me to accomplish? I think a lot of times that happens in a lot of our aspects of our lives is that we don't realize what we can do to make something easier. We just deal with the moment of frustration and stress and anxiety, and it leads to depression. So think about the ways that you can kind of buffer that emotion for yourself. You can get it to where the emotion doesn't mean so much, and it's just a process, right? Um, and if you're going through depression and anxiety, I want to be very, very clear with this, is if you feel like you're at the end of your rope and you feel like you're not getting anywhere and you feel like you just can't take it anymore, know that there's always somebody there for you to call. If you need to call a suicide hotline, you do that. If you need to just call a hotline to talk, do that. But don't let it get to the point where you're just sitting there, you're festering, and all those chemical imbalances are happening in your brain and you're doing nothing to resolve them. And there's a point where it gets to that point where the depression sets in and it becomes this almost emotional or physical feeling, right? It's just, oh my God. I mean, I can remember that shortly after my mother passed away, the first couple of years of the holidays, I mean, I always got sick. I always would get the flu, and I kept thinking, what the hell's going on? Why is it that every time Christmas comes, I get sick? And I realized it's because my emotional state of well-being was horrible. It was in a bad place. So what happened was that as I got into that bad place, my immune system dropped. Once the immune system dropped, then there was no coming back, right? As soon as the immune system dropped, I got the flu or I got a head cold and I would be sick. And sometimes it was always sometimes right before the holiday, during a holiday, or between Christmas and New Year's. And it was interesting because my mother died on December 21st or 22nd, somewhere in there, like few days before Christmas. And I remember that feeling was intense for me. It was always a feeling of oh, and it's not conscious. That's one thing I want to make very clear. When you have those emotional feelings about the holidays and it's depression connected or emotional connection to something that's happened in your past, a lot of times what happens is that we don't connect to that. We don't think, oh my God, I'm feeling this way because this happened. I'm feeling this way because my mom passed away. I'm feeling this way because, this is the day my grandpa passed and I loved him so much. We do not connect on a conscious level. We do not connect to that. Some people do. Some people, mostly people that have clinical depression, can go into that state and say, oh my God, I'm having depression because my grandma died on this day. I have a friend who does that all the time. Unconsciously, I think that she just goes back and remembers the day that her mom passed away and goes into a very kind of a funk, right? But if you're catching on to that and it's happening, and this is how I dealt with that. So I figured out that it was happening all the time around this certain time. It was always early on before Christmas. Either that, or it was right after Christmas, and it would lead me into the new year, or it'd lead me into the new year. So I started doing was realizing that I had to take care of my health before that. I don't give gifts. I make gifts. So this gives me something to do. I own a company. We own a company called La Maison. We make candles, lotions, all handmade products. Well, right now is a ramp up time for me, right? I haven't had the energy or I've been so damn busy that I haven't had the time to sit there and say, okay, I got to carve this time out. But as the holidays start coming in, I will make myself get busy to make myself understand that, okay, you know what, I'm a busy person. I got things to do. It's just a holiday. I do have things, if somebody invites me to go somewhere, I will go somewhere. If they don't, I'm okay. I'm good sitting at home because I've done so much. And that's a big key thing to remember is if you do nothing, you'll feel like you've done nothing. If you've done something and you've done a lot, both of those feelings are going to feel really good to you. You'll feel as if you've accomplished something. So keep in the forward part of your mind that I am always here to do the best I can. We're never here to do perfection because there's no such thing as perfection. Your turkey dinner, your holiday dinner, your Christmas ham is going to be as good as it's going to be. You do the best you can, and when you are done, you got to be able to wipe your hands and be like, okay, what did I learn for next year, or what did I learn to do that, the expectation is going to be able to be something I can manage, and keep that in mind. All right, you guys. Hey, I know today was not a long show, but I want you to just go ahead and really think about this. And, if you see sad people out there, because I mean, it's so hard for some people that, I can remember what it was like. I started flying for Delta Airlines. I had just moved to Los Angeles, California. I was here by myself. My parents were in Arizona. All my family was in other states. And at that time, my sister was in San Diego, but I was flying, so I couldn't really just carve out that time. So, and I always worked every holiday, always. I was always in the air. That's one thing I really can tell you is I never had a holiday at home until I got probably into my 15th year of flying. And I think I experienced one day off at that, when I think it was Christmas Day at that point, but it took 15 years to get to that point. So I had to find other ways. And I'll tell you that now that I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, I understand how the emotions work. I understand how our brain works. You have to be very aware that there's something happening to you, because, if you wait until it hits you, it's going to hit you like a brick wall. Check in with yourself. I mean, if you start feeling, I'm just really exhausted, I can't get up in the morning, what's going on? It could be depression, or if you're thinking, oh my God, I just run out of energy at 12 o'clock and I have to sleep, it could be depression. Or it could be, I have this lonely, sad feeling that I carry with me all the time. I don't understand why. It's been going on for a long time now. It could be depression. All right. Be aware of yourself, be aware of your feelings, be aware of your emotions, and hook on to them. I was able to find that point where it was either before Christmas, during Christmas, after Christmas, or New Year's, where I would always get the flu or a sinus infection. You have to become aware of understanding how your body feels, and don't ignore it, because the more you ignore it, the worse it gets, right? You start ignoring things, it just kind of goes on and on and on. And the key is, what I'm doing this for you guys for right now is for you to understand that depression and anxiety is not what you're suffering from, unless you've had that in the past experiences. And it can turn into that, don't get me wrong. But when you go into the holiday blues, there's a big difference, right? The holiday blues come and go. When you get through the holiday blues and it doesn't go and it continues, you need to seek professional help. And I will reiterate this again. If you're feeling helpless, if you're feeling hopeless, if you're feeling lonely, please reach out. And you feel like, you're going to hurt yourself, please reach out and call the National Crisis Hotline. Talk to somebody. If you want to, they used to have chat groups in the olden days. Get a chat group. Find a Facebook group that you can connect to, that you can share your emotions, share what's happening to you. But my biggest thing to you right now is to tell you not to stop, to start walking every day, start hiking on the weekends, get yourself busy, take an idea. So I'll tell you what I'm doing for this Christmas, which I'm kind of excited for. Hopefully my family doesn't watch this. So I'm making candy apples, but the big thing I'm doing with those candy apples is they're going to be a metallic colors, and they're getting that. And then I'm going to go pick up some vodka today, and I'm making homemade Kahlua with vanilla beans. I'll bottle that, and they'll get the Kahlua and the apple for each individual in the family, with a nice little package, and maybe a candle, so they can relax, enjoy their Kahlua, and chill out. So, and it keeps me busy, and it keeps me not thinking about the holidays, not thinking about my losses, not thinking about what I don't have. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening to me. Thank you for being here with me tonight. And again, I wish you very, very Merry holidays. Be good to yourself. Treat yourself right and love yourself, and know that you're perfect the way you are. These expectations you create are expectations you're creating for yourself. Let those go and move forward. Thank you, guys. Appreciate all of you. And, thank you so much. And if you have questions, like I said, private me, DM me, direct message me, and I'll be happy to answer those questions. I'll be of any service I can be for you. Pay attention, because I'm going to be giving away a free MP3 that'll help with depression and anxiety. You guys, it'll be a free download for you guys if you find you need it. But for now, take care. Enjoy the weekend. Go out there and make the weekend a little better for somebody else who's not as fortunate as you are. Thanks, you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
I think these videos are brilliant, and I'm sure you will like them too. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell.